The elevator pitch is something everybody has heard about. They don't have that in Europe. You can beat that, right? It's this mythology of you're riding up an elevator. There's some billionaire, 100 millionaire, fund manager, hedge fund manager, private equity investor, venture capitalist, crazy rich guy, high net worth individual, whatever, in the elevator with you. And he goes, hey man, I got 90 seconds. Tell me what you're doing. And thus the elevator pitch was born. They don't have that in Europe. Why? Because they're not rude. Right? That's a very rude thing to say. Like, hey, I got 90 seconds. Tell me about your deal. Can you tell me about your company, about your fund, about your hedge fund, about your venture capital group, about your career in 90 seconds? No, you can't. It's an unreasonable time constraint. And here's what I can tell you. No real investor behaves like that. Just look at Shark Tank. Those are the most aggressive, insensitive, ridiculous investors in America. They still give the guys like 15 minutes to show the perfume or the dog food or the cheese cutter or super bra or whatever it is. Right? They're unreasonable, but they're reasonable about time. No real investor is so unreasonable about time. So how to deal with this? First, you got to get in your mind some basic understanding. One, if you're an entrepreneur, 8 out of the 10 people that you're talking to about capital investment do not have money. There's ways to get through that. I don't have time to explain it, but just understand that many times people are rude to you because you're getting closer to the understanding of whether they have money or not. And the closer you get to their source of capital not existing, the more rude they become with you. Secondly, people who really deal with money and deals understand. You cannot talk about a sector, a market size, a product category, competition, revenue, pro forma, exit strategy, competitive advantage, product features and benefits, go-to-market, team, and all the elements in a deal in 90 seconds. They're asking a different question if they're saying, hey, I have 90 seconds, tell me about your deal. This is the way you flatten all of this. Just roll a nuke, blow all these issues up, and handle it. If anybody is giving you a very tight time constraint to talk about your deal, you do not mention your product. You do not mention the name of your company. You do not mention features, benefits, what you do, why you do it, or why you're excited. None of that. All you do is this to test if it's a real investor and there's any sense in booking a meeting. So if I have 90 seconds, 130 seconds, less than 5 minutes, this is all you do. You talk about these 5 things. Revenue. How much revenue you will get in pro forma revenue in the near term. Income. How much income you'll be producing. What your margins are, gross margins and net margins, and what your exit strategy is, right? So that sounds like this. Hey, we'll be doing $20 million of revenue in 2025 in our pro forma. We're pretty close to that. That's a 60% gross margin, 35% net margins, based on just the basic assumptions that are good for our market. That allows us to start thinking about our Series A2 capital round, and which puts us in line for an exit strategy end of 2025, early 26. Those are the things you talk about: revenue, income, gross margin, net margin, and potential exit strategy. That signals to a real investor that you have a real company. Then all you have to do is say, hey, we are in this industry, right? But hopefully you know something about this person and you're matching the industry that you're talking about to the industry they're familiar with. If they're familiar with real estate, you're in the real estate industry. I don't care what you make, because everything's used in the real estate industry. It's like 30% of the entire economy. If they're in automotive, you're in automotive, right? So it sounds like this. We're adjacent to the real estate industry. We'll have revenue of approximately $17 million in 2025. Income, $3 to $4 million. It's 60% gross margins, 30% net margins, and we're looking for an exit. We're planning an exit 26, 27, maybe early 25. Then all you have to do is wrap it up with this one thing. You can do it within 90 seconds. We have all the capital we need. We have more capital than we were looking for. We're continuing conversations with capital providers and investors to keep interesting people in our inner circle. That's it. That's your elevator pitch. The amazing thing about it is it flips the script. You're not having to explain your product. You're not having to explain your market, features, benefits, value proposition, team, or what you're looking for. You're converting that conversation into the language that a real investor speaks. That is catnip, right? And the fact that you're not explaining what you do is the reason that meeting happens.